Okay, everyone, I decided to go ahead on and start this pecan frosting while my oven is heating up. And let me tell y'all something. I just had myself a good old time with that bowl and that spatula. There was a time back in the day my sister and I would be having a fight. Well, who was getting the bowl and who was getting the spatula? And guess what? I ain't have nobody to argue with. I had a good time. Sorry, Wanda. Okay, in your pan, and again, we're going to start out with a cold pan because we don't want our eggs to cook. So we're going to put those in first, slightly beat them. Slightly beat them up really good. And then going to put in your softened butter. Softened butter, a stick and a half. This is the famous pecan frosting that everybody loves. And then we're going to add a can of evaporated milk. The whole thing. And then we're going to add in our sugar, our cup and a half of sugar. These two go last. The pecans that I was telling you about, this is the texture that you want. You want it to be, you want it to be not granulated, but you just want them to be finely chopped, okay? Then we're going to put in our teaspoon of vanilla, so. And now we are going to whisk this mixture together on, I would start off at about a medium, well not medium, just about 4 if you're on your electric stove. If not, you don't want it to cook too fast and burn because it will burn very, very quickly. And it's one of those frostings actually that you have to kind of babysit, sorry. So you want to cook this mixture here until it gets thick. So just really, really watch it because it will scorch on you. So I'm not going to bore you with this. All I'm doing is mixing everything in my heavy duty pot. And then we're going to come back and we're going to add the pecans and the coconut. Now, I want to tell you something also. Here's some frosting that I actually did some time ago. This frosting can be frozen. And look, it's just fine. I took it out of the freezer earlier today because I'm going to use it to get started with, because this frosting you cannot use this frosting right out of the pan. You have to give this frosting time to chill up. Actually, I put mine in the freezer and then I check it, every so often to make sure it's at the consistency I need to frost this cake. And you're going to see what I mean by the consistency. And I actually had 2 that I had in there that I had actually made up. So I'm in good business. So I can get started while this is chilling up. So we'll be right back once this cooks down and our cakes have baked. Be right back. Okay, everyone, as you can see, my mixture is bubbling away and it is nice and thick. So when I say thick, it's not runny. It's come together now. And this is what you want. This is where you want it to be. So we're going to turn the fire off. And now we're going to add the coconut. Just drop it right in there. And now you're going to mix it through. And see, this is what causes people to get alarmed, because there's no way you can frost with this. It's too watery. Now you're going to add in your pecans. This is where people become terrified. Oh gosh, what am I going to do now? I can't use this. Yes, you can. You have to put it in the freezer. The refrigerator is going to take you longer. But if you put this in the freezer, this is going to become perfect, for you to ice your cake with. See, right now it's too watery. You can't do anything with that. You gotta put it in the freezer. So the best way to do this, and I didn't have this handy, but just let me step away for 1 second to grab my saran wrap. You want to put a thin layer of saran wrap on top of this. And the saran wrap, pardon me, the saran wrap will keep it from getting this, I guess you would call it a film on top of it. So you're just going to put yourself a layer of saran wrap right along the sides of the pan and the top. Just put it right along the edge so that the frosting is sealed in. Okay, now we're going to put this in the freezer, and the cake is still baking, and when it comes out, we're going to go ahead and begin frosting with what we have. Okay everyone, we're back. And here is our frosting out of the freezer. I've been stirring it, and look at this. Totally frostable. This is your frosting after you set it in the freezer. And it's been in there a good minute because I wanted to make sure that this was ready. And it's ready to go. It is ready to go. It is perfect. Before we do that, I want to show you how I'm doing my cake. You don't have to do yours this way. I like to split my cakes. And I showed you on a previous video how to do that. I've already done this one, and I want to show you this beauty. Look at this. This is amazing. I wanted to slide this. I've already made my cut. Look at that. Look at that. That is so light and airy and fluffy and oh my God, that is the bomb. You put this on your table, you will get plenty compliments, and they'll be wanting you to make them one. So that's one layer that I split in half because I used a 2-inch pan. I wanted to split my cake into two. So now I'm going to go ahead and split this one again just to show you. I showed you this already once, but I want to show you again. I actually, let's see, where's my cut? Yeah, that's where I started, right there. And all you're going to do is come around your cake slowly. You should be doing this on a turntable, but I've done it quite a few times now. I can kind of do it on just the countertop. And you're just going to go around, not cutting all the way through. Just find your spot where you want to start cutting. And just lightly, see the knife over here? The end over there? And just keep going around. And then you begin to push. And the knife will automatically come out on the other side. And you have split your cake in two. Here's your, I use this is easiest because, you know, they're so delicate at this point because they're so fluffy and light. Split it, slide it up on there. Look at that. Oh my God. That is some kind of cake right there. Sorry, y'all. But that's good, right? That's perfect. That's the way you want it. You want it nice and light and fluffy, and that's what your egg whites are going to give it. So now we're going to frost this cake and get it ready for the holidays. So at this point, you want to get yourself a cake board. This is an 8-inch cake. Typically, I would put this on a 10-inch cake board because I like to do the decorative border. But on a German chocolate, you really don't have to because this is the way I frost it is so beautiful, you really won't need a border. So you just actually put a little bit of frosting on the bottom of your border, like so. Just so your cake won't be flopping around on you. And then you're going to take your cake off of the cooling rack, and the cake is completely cool. Please make sure your cake is completely cool because it will melt the frosting. You don't want that. So now you can pick your cake up and put it on the turntable, which is where you're going to frost the cake. I would suggest if you're going to bake that you invest in a turntable, because that's what's going to help you keep the cake stable. It'll also help you be able to move around the cake. If your board stable, you're going to put one of these, and these are just shelf liners right here. And there's the cake, and look, it's not going anywhere. To keep your turntable from moving, I just wet a paper towel, lift it up, put it across your counter where your table's going to be, flatten it out, and look at that. Your cake, your turntable isn't moving. It's not going to go anywhere. So now, we're going to go ahead on and get this baby frosted. What we're going to do is use, I actually like to use 2 spatulas. These are my favorite. This is a bigger one, and this is my smaller one that it's just something about this smaller one that I really like. So we're going to start with the frosting that we already had. And we're going to go ahead and, and typically, like I said before, I simple syrup my cakes, mostly all of them. But when you have a cake this moist, look at that. You don't need any simple syrup. It is perfect just the way it is, because remember, you've got the juices from the frosting that are going to get down in there, and oh, it's just going to be delicious. So we're going to put a nice layer here in the middle, and see the cake is not moving, see? Because you've put that counter shelf liner on there, and then you've got your paper towel. So now you have control. And also remember not to touch your cake. You're only touching the frosting. This way, your cake, your frosting doesn't have a lot of crumbs in it. And that's what you want. Now this cake, you really don't have to crumb coat, because this is the frosting, the final, coat of the final layer. So you don't have to crumb coat this cake. Okay? So I'll do one more, and then we'll come back and show you how to do the sides. I do the sides on mine. Some people don't do the sides. I like my entire cake covered in the frosting. So now you're going to slide your second layer right on top. Okay? There you go. Always, always, always remember to take off your liner. You don't want your liner in the cake. So just remember, and don't worry about it coming off on the side a little bit, because you're going to frost all of that. No one will see that. So you just gently pull away the liner. Some of the cake got underneath it. That's what happened. Those little pieces right there, enjoy those for yourself. That's what I do. The cake is so fluffy. Okay? Take that off. Don't worry about all of that on the side. Don't worry. Eat that. Use that. Excuse me. As your little treat along the way. Here we go. Second layer of frosting. See? Come right on out to that edge. Nobody is going to see that. And this cake is so good, they won't even care if they did see it. So you're just going to go right along the edge. Give yourself a nice... Now this cake is very rich. Very rich. And just give yourself a little treat along the way as you're frosting it. Those pieces that come off. No problem. There you go. Okay. We're going to do one more. I said I was going to come away, but you know what? We're here. Let's just go ahead and do it. Okay, so we're going to take the bottom layer here, the top layer on it, we'll fix that, and just sit her right on top. of your second layer and slide her on over. Get her straight because you don't want a crooked cake. Ugh, I hate a crooked cake. And be careful because it's very, very delicate. You see how tall that cake is getting? I personally like tall cakes. All of my cakes that I make are tall. Most people will tell you my cakes are 4 and 5 layers high. Okay? And here we are. We're getting ready to frost our next layer. And this cake is so, oh gosh, I'm sorry. I keep going on and on about it. But it is. That egg white makes your cake so fluffy. And you're just going to hold the side of your cake if it's moving or if you have a little tear. Come on out to the edge. Come on out to the edge. No one is going to see any of that. Because more frosting. And be careful on your frosting. Sometimes you might even have to double your recipe. If you're like me, you want to go up the sides. You might have to double your frosting recipe. Just repeat the recipe twice. Simple. Okay, coming on around. And I know I could speed this up, and I probably will. Okay. And if you have a piece that's coming off, put your little frosting in there. That's your glue. That's your glue. If you have a piece that's kind of trailing off, like over here where I do, right here, this little piece right there, keeps acting like it wants to come off, but that's okay. Just put a little glue on it and keep on moving. Okay, here's your final layer. Final layer right here. And you always want to end with your paper side up, because that's going to be your flat side. And again, see, the paper is just sticking a little bit to the cake is sticking a little bit to the paper, but that's all right. Just gently take your time. Take your time and peel it back. Peel it back like so. And it'll come right off. And you're good to go. There you go. Now, the sides. I love to frost my sides. It just makes the cake look amazing. So to do that, you're going to start off with a big dollop right on the top. Just give yourself a big dollop, and I sure hope I don't run out of icing because I did not double this. Okay, anyway, you're going to come on down the side of your cake, just like that. See how that's sticking on the side? And that's what you want. You want that icing, just come on down with it. Let it come on down. Just like that, okay? Now I'm gonna bring it around here so I can show you what I do. I just take my knife and go right along the side, just like that. See? Come up, come up, come up, over, come up. Because see, you gonna have a little gap in there. See? So you just want to take your knife and make it even with the cake and just go around it with the flat side. See? See that? Beautiful. That's what you want. Come on down a little bit more. So you still got a little gap right here. So you got to get that filled in, and that's where this extra frosting is going to come in. I'm going to do it and show you when I get done. There you go. See? You're just using the back side of the knife to do the work for you. So we're going to take some more of this frosting off the top. Come on down right here. See, because that cake came off, you got to fill that in. So you got to use frosting to fill it in. And it's okay. Just take your time. And you may not even have that problem with the icing where the cake kind of crumbled right there. But if you do, Don't panic. There's a fix. And see, if your icing was too thin, you couldn't get that nice straight edge like that. See? And then you just come right back up. Come up, come up. And I'm going to do this all the way around. When I come back, that cake is going to be beautiful. Be right back.